Go James! Go James! Go James! So if I hit the next three, man, I'm 50%, man. Check my stats. All right, okay. Hold on. Let me take my time on this. Take my time. Go James! I think my ankle's starting to hurt, man. My ankle's starting to hurt. Go James! Go James! Well, man, you know what? I'm gonna shoot a left hand like Kobe, man. I'm better than Kobe.
The sports media world is entering full meltdown mode as the conversation around the latest super team landscape continues to explode. Fans are stepping in with brutal reality checks, challenging the narratives pushed by the self-proclaimed history makers. The corporate PR machine is starting to crack as more people look beyond the manufactured hype and focus on what is actually happening on the court. So, what do you think? Is LeBron James truly one of the greatest primary stars in NBA history? Or has his career been elevated beyond reality, with some critics viewing him as the most talented and overhyped supporting player the league has ever seen? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
This is from last week's What Viewers Say About the Duck, the Deer, the leader of the 4 and 6 Kingdom, people. Don't ever forget it. He says, thanks for what you do. LeBron is one of the best supporting players I've ever seen. I mean, sure, Robert Horry has more rings at 7, and Derek Fisher has 5 too. And sure, Andre Iguodala and Tony Parker have 4 rings and a Finals MVP each. But LeBron has been a great supporting player. D-Wade and Bosh may have led the team, but they received good support from the Duck to win too, except for in 2011's, the Duck was nowhere to be found.
Let's begin by examining an interesting observation that recently came from a fan known as Real Hermit. Looking back at the history of super teams, this fan decided to take another look at LeBron James' entire career without relying on the usual media narrative. The argument was simple. Mainstream sports media often presents LeBron as a franchise savior who carried weak teams to success. But according to this perspective, the historical record tells a very different story. Real Hermit argued that once you remove the personal branding, media hype, and carefully built narratives, LeBron's role in championship teams can be viewed differently. From this fan's perspective, rather than always being the lone star carrying everyone else, LeBron has been an incredibly talented player who has also benefited from strong supporting casts and superstar teammates. In fact, the argument goes as far as claiming that LeBron may be one of the most talented players ever to thrive alongside other elite stars. But is that a fair assessment of his career, or does it completely ignore everything he has accomplished as a franchise centerpiece?
The greatest role player of all time, or maybe we should say the most talented role player of all time. The Duck is not even the greatest role player of all time. Anyway, in no way Kyrie is winning in Cleveland without LeGM and Kevin Love. And you know, AD received some great support from the Duck in 2020. Now he's going to Philly to try and support them. One of the GOAT role players ever. You know what? Fanboys, upon reading this comment, I just had a revelation.
Just take a moment and let that idea sink in. The moment that label is mentioned, many LeBron supporters will likely reject it immediately. But instead of reacting emotionally, let's look at the argument and the examples being used to support it. NBA history has seen several elite role players collect multiple championships. Robert Horry won 7 rings, while Derek Fisher captured 5 as an important contributor in the backcourt. Andre Iguodala built his reputation as an elite defender and valuable teammate, while Tony Parker won 4 championships and even earned a Finals MVP for his performance. However, this argument takes a much more controversial turn when discussing LeBron's championship seasons. According to the perspective being presented, critics believe that despite his incredible talent and production, LeBron often played alongside teammates who were responsible for some of the biggest late-game moments. The claim is that his role in those championship runs was sometimes different from the traditional image of a superstar carrying every crucial possession alone. That is a bold interpretation of LeBron's legacy, and one that is sure to create plenty of debate.
for Cleveland, including this one. They came out of the timeout set to get Steph Curry on Kyrie Irving. They get exactly what they want. Everybody out of my way. It's time to dance. Gets them one-on-one, lulls them to sleep, forces a late contest. That's a big-time offensive play by Kyrie Irving, but it's a play he's made his entire life. The ability to score and flat out get it done on the offensive end. Irving now with 26 and back in Cleveland. These fans realize they're 10.6 seconds away now from a championship.
Think back to the first championship runs in Miami, where LeBron James teamed up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. The popular media narrative often makes it sound as if LeBron arrived and single-handedly carried the franchise to the top. But critics point to the 2011 NBA Finals against the Dallas Mavericks as a major example of why that version of history remains heavily debated. During that series, LeBron struggled in several crucial moments, particularly late in games, while Wade took on a major offensive responsibility for Miami. From this perspective, critics argue that Wade and Bosh were already essential parts of the team's foundation, and that the organization had a strong structure in place before LeBron ever arrived. LeBron certainly played a huge role in helping Miami win 2 championships, but the argument is that he was joining an already established core rather than building everything from the ground up. A similar debate followed him back to Cleveland. Supporters celebrate LeBron for leading the Cavaliers to their historic 2016 championship, while critics point out that Kyrie Irving delivered one of the defining moments of the series. With the score tied late in Game 7, Irving hit the famous three-pointer over Stephen Curry, a shot that helped secure Cleveland's first NBA championship. The bigger question is whether those iconic moments change how we should view LeBron's role, or whether they simply prove that even the greatest players need elite teammates when championships are on the line.
Feel it, South Florida is electric, knowing the Miami Heat has now secured 3 of the NBA's biggest names to play right here next season.
Tonight, the trio is complete. LeBron James joining Dwayne Wade and
Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love gave Cleveland valuable scoring, spacing, and offensive versatility, helping create the system around LeBron James. Critics argue that Kyrie, especially, played a major role in the biggest moments, including his unforgettable Game 7 three-pointer in the 2016 Finals. Then came the 2020 championship run inside the Orlando bubble. Supporters celebrated it as an extremely challenging journey, while critics viewed the situation differently. Anthony Davis was dominant throughout the playoffs, providing elite defense, protecting the rim, delivering huge performances, and hitting one of the most memorable shots of the postseason against Denver. From this perspective, LeBron and Davis formed a powerful partnership, with both players playing essential roles in the Lakers' title run. Now, according to this argument, the same debate is beginning again as LeBron potentially joins another talented roster in Philadelphia alongside stars such as Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown, and Joel Embiid. Critics believe he would be entering an established system surrounded by elite talent rather than carrying the entire responsibility by himself. And that leads to the controversial conclusion behind this entire discussion. Perhaps the reason LeBron has spent so much of his career discussing the need for more help is because, in the eyes of his critics, he has often been part of the supporting structure himself. It is an extreme argument, but one that continues to fuel debate about how his career should be evaluated. The conversation then shifted toward comments made by Rich Paul and his comparison between professional athletes and successful corporate executives. Critics argued that the comparison overlooked the enormous financial advantages enjoyed by superstar athletes. Their point was that someone earning tens of millions of dollars each year has opportunities and resources far beyond what most working families can imagine. This criticism also raised a larger issue about privilege and perspective. Rich Paul has often spoken about his journey from humble beginnings to becoming one of the most powerful figures in sports. However, critics felt that describing the life of a highly paid athlete as the most difficult job in the world could sound disconnected from the realities faced by ordinary workers. There are countless professions involving significant physical danger, long hours, and difficult conditions. Offshore workers can spend extended periods away from their families while working in hazardous environments. Firefighters regularly face dangerous situations while protecting their communities. Other workers perform physically demanding jobs every day with far less financial security and recognition. That does not mean professional sports are easy. Athletes deal with intense competition, public pressure, constant travel, physical injuries, and enormous expectations. But critics argue that comparing those challenges to occupations involving daily threats to personal safety creates a serious gap in perspective. The same criticism has been directed at the discussion surrounding the NBA bubble. Players were separated from their families and forced to live under strict restrictions, which was undoubtedly difficult. At the same time, critics pointed out that they were staying in comfortable accommodations with access to professional facilities and extensive support. Meanwhile, many people around the world work under far more dangerous and difficult conditions. Soldiers can spend long periods away from home in high-risk environments, while miners and other laborers may face serious health and safety risks simply to earn a living. Ultimately, the argument is not that professional athletes face no challenges. The bigger question is whether the modern sports world sometimes loses perspective when discussing those challenges. Critics believe the enormous financial success and protective media culture surrounding superstar athletes can occasionally make ordinary struggles seem invisible. And according to this perspective, that mindset is exactly why debates surrounding LeBron James, Rich Paul, and the modern NBA continue